Good evening. Let's call the East China Township Board meeting for April 3rd, 2023 to order, please. Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call. Supervisor Westrick.
Yep.
Clerk Matei here. Treasurer Hart.
Here.
Trustee Babel.
Here.
Trustee Richley.
Here.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. The agenda is here, presented. I don't have any changes unless someone else wants to comment on it. If not,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Richley,
My support.
Abel, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item, the minutes, which we got the second page this here on. Everybody get a chance to quickly read that over. If there's no changes, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Richley?
Support.
Yeah, Ms. Hart. Thanks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Presentations and guest speakers, Mr. Sheriff. We're moving along because I know you're busy. You need to get back out on the road.
Good, sir. Good evening, Mr. Supervisor. Captain Paul on behalf of the Sheriff's Office. I know it's probably old news or business now. I was able to make it last time. I'd sent some graphs. I don't know if we still have those. Okay, it was just something I'd started making up for each township that we contract with. Just a little visual of kind of the calls, the most popular calls of service that we're dealing with. So it's just an informative thing. Try to do that and expand on that every year. I don't know if anybody had any questions on those specifically.
It's like a standard report. For
Yeah, just numbers.
I haven't seen anything that stands
Right.
out at this point. I don't think anyone was killed or anything like that. I don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Right on.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate you out there.
Yeah, the only other thing I had, just an update department-wise, we just finished our whole department in-service training that we do yearly, so everybody's back up to speed on some state regulations that we have to go through every year. We spent a whole day at the range, transferred that over to, we used a Landmark Academy in Kimball Township, so we did kind of like a live fire simulations, active shooter training, legal updates with the prosecutor's office, mobile crisis, things like that. Other than that, the stats are kind of on par with where they should be, so if anybody had any questions or concerns.
Anybody?
Pretty quiet.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thank you.
You have a good night. Okay, public comment. Anyone wishing to have public comment, just go ahead and come to the podium if you don't mind, so the microphone can get you. Just state your name and address and.
My name's Ben Abraham. I live at 5295 Point Drive. I'm new to the community. I live close to a private drive, I believe. A little confused on its status, but it's Marell Street, I believe. I'm confused on why that street is still private. I've talked to all the residents. They said it's not wide enough to be a public road. I don't really buy that, though. Loretta and the ones north of it are public roads, I take it, because they're paved and they're taken care of. One of the residents had a fire even the one time in the wintertime, and the truck went off the road. So not only is it like a nuisance to my property, because the water doesn't drain anywhere, but it's also a nuisance to the residents living there, because it's, I think it's a hazard, partially, especially in the wintertime. I was curious what's, probably not the appropriate spot, but figured I'd come here and ask what would be the appropriate next steps to see if you can get it public, or what would be the, where would we go from here?
Well, you want the short answer or the long answer?
Well, I'm here to do some legwork.
Short answer is,
First
and I can
time.
get more information to you.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with this.
Okay.
It's one of the first things that I first wrestled with about a year ago now. I was appointed to the position when the previous supervisor left, is private roads. We have a few in the township.
Okay.
It's kind of a nature of the beast where someone long time ago, before our time, had a small road and put houses on it. never dedicated to the township or the county, and remained a private road. And unbeknownst to most people that buy houses on the road, they don't realize that it's a private road.
I don't live on that road, just to be clear.
Right.
I live next to it. but-
Right, but that's kind of how it goes, so they're not understanding that either. We're actually, right now, getting some signs made to designate whatever roads that are in the township that are private, so when people, prospective buyers, whatever, come to do that, because it's not on their deed or anything, they're gonna know that, they're gonna see the private road,
To be
so.
clear, I knew it was a private road before I bought the house.
What's that?
I knew it was a private road before I bought the
Okay,
house, to be
all right.
clear.
A lot
So
of
I'm not
people don't.
I'm not questioning any of that
Yeah.
part. I talked to all the residents before
Yeah.
I bought the place, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just curious of why it's still a private road.
We can't meet the county's guidelines for it to be a county road, period.
Is
With
it
the-
35 feet or 34?
It's 60, minimum 60 feet.
So if
Right
I
away.
go to the streets,
Got to have 60 feet of right-of-way for the road. You're more than welcome to go up to St. Clair County Road Commission and talk to them about it, because I have.
okay,
And then it would have to be brought up to county standards along with the right-of-ways and everything else. As part of it is the drainage and the whole 9 yards. And then we'd petition to have them take the road, and it would be accepted. We tried this with Bryson Lane too. Residents didn't want to give up enough right-of-way or wanted to charge us for the right-of-way to make it 60 feet. Therefore, and that started back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It's been going on for a long time. They have legal opinions on this whole thing. 50% of the residents would have to petition to do it in order to get it passed, and then they would pay for the cost of such to bring it to county standards. And it's a pretty tight road to get 60 feet.
yeah, it would be, but the part that's confusing to me are the two, or Loretta and the one north of it also private or public roads? I
Those are
believe
paved, they're paved, and
So,
they have pavement on them. I shouldn't say they're paved,
yeah,
but they are designated as county roads.
so that doesn't, you see how that's a conundrum there?
Before our time, and this is what we have to live with, unfortunately. That's the
Okay.
short answer. I mean,
So just to be clear, the next step would just be go right to the St. Clair County Road Commission?
by all means, go right ahead. His name's
Okay.
Bill Hazelton. Go talk to him. See what he
Well,
says.
Bale Hazelton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and, I mean, I'd be more happy to share the rules with you too, but that's where we're at. We don't want any township private roads, trust me.
Right.
We would, because we pay the township a portion of money in our taxes to maintain all the roads. That's plowing the snow, grading, put gravel down, we participate in some of the costs of that too, but, they won't take that as a county road. We don't have the provisions to even make it a county road.
Okay. And the
We
last
don't have
que-
enough property for there.
Yeah, well, if you need 60 feet for a road,
Unfortunately, yeah.
if you need that. There is a fire hydrant at the end of it too. I was curious, because that would be township property down.
Yeah, we have an
private.
easement for the water main, but no.
Right,
easement.
but you would need access to it to use it.
Utility easement.
And then, you
There's
know what I mean,
a-
it's like having a fire hydrant in the back of, behind some woods and stuff or something.
The roadway is pretty much the easement too, so we have an easement to access our utilities.
The easement's actually on my property. It's
Yeah.
10 feet to the right of the road,
Yeah.
or south of the road, rather.
Yeah.
So it's like you can see how it was written out in the 50s, right? I'm just
Yeah,
curious how.
That's my father-in-law that had the fire down there that when the.
Oh, is your
when the
father-in-law?
road was-
Okay.
When the road was flooded by a foot, I was there, yeah.
Okay.
The fire engine backed off the road because it was underwater, didn't know it, got stuck, and, oh yeah, I remember.
Right. I talked to him. He's a
Very
nice guy.
intimate with it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'd love to do
Well-
something for him as well, but
Okay. I'm here to help you though, and so the next step, if you go to St. Clair County.
Go talk to Mr. Hazelton, see if he can help us some, or he knows some other way other than that way that we can do that, so.
Okay.
By all means, I welcome you to go talk to him.
Awesome. And if I still have time, I had one more question.
Sure.
So I recently digging next to the foundation of my house. Eventually, I'm going to put in a French drain, a new one. There's weeping tile there still. And what is the township's plan with all, I'm guessing it goes, I don't know personally, it's put in the 65, but I'm guessing that goes to the sewer.
It won't go in the sanitary sewer, it can't. If it is, we would love to know that, because that's part of our problem down there when the
Yeah,
water's higher.
should be a storm sewer. but-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be a storm sewer to the
Under-
canal or something like that.
Understood. So who should I go talk to about that? I'd love to know. I don't think there's a storm.
I love
sewer
it,
down
if you
there.
talk to our building department,
Okay,
Tracy, he'd be more than happy to help you out, and
Perfect.
I'll let him know that you're gonna go.
okay, awesome,
Maybe
thank
then
you.
Blaine.
All right?
Blaine
Yeah,
would
we'll start
be-
with him, and Blaine is our
Yeah.
DPW guy too, but
Okay.
Yeah, if you want,
I actually only called the emergency and left a message, so
That-
that wasn't the right.
he's gonna probably call you back then, but yeah, leave your name and number
And
before
I
you
tried
take
to call and
off.
say it wasn't an emergency, but
All right.
anyways, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, leave your name and number, and
Thank
we can
you.
make sure they get hold of you too.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Moving on, consent agenda. C1, got departmental reports attached.
I have questions.
C2, request for training DPW, there's 3. C3, township manager quarterly report, and C4, non-union staff rate increase.
Okay. For the department reports,
Mm-hmm.
Do the building inspector and code enforcer have to do any type of reports? I've
Yeah,
never
they do them
seen-
separately. We usually
I've
see
never
that. I haven't seen
seen
the
that.
code ever with the report, but I know that Tracy
Well,
does.
the building department is right here.
Right,
And it's
yeah,
probably in
I
there,
guess that's part of the report,
I
but
just got
I've
back
never
in town
seen
late
one
last night. I didn't
from
get a chance to look them over.
Who's the other one?
the code enforcer, what he does on a
Oh,
monthly basis or whatever, and
right.
I think he's only in the office one day a week or one afternoon a month.
He's
Yeah.
on call.
I was wondering
He's on
that
call.
too.
Yeah, he responds basically on a complaint-based, someone files a complaint.
Right.
That, or
Okay.
if I ask him to do something, but
Okay,
we can refer that to our township manager to
Wouldn't be a
have him
bad idea
included.
though to have, so we know what the status of some of these things
Yeah,
are
we'll have him
there.
included.
yeah, because I get a lot of questions, people telling me that they've put in complaints and they've never heard anything.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Yeah, if they
you
file
know.
the complaint report, he responds to it
Okay.
somewhat, some way,
Okay.
shape, or form.
Okay,
But we'll ask him to include the reports.
okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Richley,
I support.
Ms. Abel, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Disbursements. Ms. Hart.
We have disbursements payroll in the amount of $65,528.14. EFT payments, $62,615.36. Accounts payable, $253,608.79. E-checks in the amount of $302.30 for a grand total of $382,054.59. I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the total of $382.54.59.
Ms. Hart made the motion. Is there a second?
Support.
Mr. Richley.
I do have a question though.
Uh-huh.
Under, it's on the second page, the check register, page 1. Under, it's toward the very bottom, Fletcher, Falco, Shouty, is that from, is that when they gave us the opinion about the, whatchamacallit, the special assessment? Is that what that charge is for?
Can't say for sure, but we've got
Okay.
numerous things we've been talking about. It's
okay.
probably a monthly bill for everything.
Oh, okay.
Type thing is my guess.
Okay,
But
I got you.
If you want.
I was just curious.
If you want, then he can get you the copy. of it
Okay,
for what's
yeah,
there.
I'll talk to Sam when
Okay.
she comes back.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, clerk, please call roll.
Roll call vote, Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Clerk Matei, yes. Supervisor Western?
Yes. Thank you. Unfinished business, I have none. New business. 1, Resolution 04-2023, the Inches Drain Repair. I just kind of thought that was a typo at first, but it's actually called the Inches Drain. And real quick, Tony is here from the Drain Commissioner, answered some questions we talked about a little bit. Kind of a very small portion of this drainage district lies in East China, and I guess they're gonna do some maintenance on it, so we have to go through this process like we did for the Hathaway Drain last year. Tony?
Yeah, so we had it cambered and found numerous cracks, and it's old vitreous clay tile. And if we do nothing with it, eventually it's gonna fail, and it's just gonna be way more costly. So going underneath the structure on the east side of River Road. We've also lost access through the trailer park there. So we really have trouble inspecting it. There's just some replacement structures. The estimate that we have from the engineer is about $149,000 to repair it. East China Township's old apportionment was 20% of that. We have it on the docket this year to verify the district. So we used to use straight lines, and now we do it more like a watershed. We actually have an engineering company come out, make sure whose water's going in there, that it makes it, it's just updating the books, making sure that it's fair, the right people are paying for it, and the people that maybe have paid for it since 1920, it shouldn't have been, and we'll take them out of the district, so, that's part of the,
Most of the work is the outfall, the lining of it, is that correct?
yeah, it's actually, from M29 East is where the majority of the work will be done. There's a structure to be placed on the west side of 29, and then I think we're gonna put one more structure in that trailer park just to give us access. There's trailers over the whole pipe. Semco did a directional bore through it. It's a 2-inch line going right across the top of it.
Is it 2-inch line, or the main?
What's
2-inch,
that?
you said?
It's storm, but
No, but, no, the Semco line.
it's a 2-inch, it looks
2-inch
like.
main
Yeah,
line.
from what I could tell from the video, yeah, looked like
Yeah.
about a 2-inch line, so.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we'll hit them for a charge too,
Yeah.
to put back in the district. We,
Yeah.
we do that when they encroach on our drains. We tell them, hey, this is the damage you did, you're gonna be responsible for that, and they're pretty good about it, so.
We have to also look at a structure that's placed over this as well.
Yes.
A
Yep.
garage. So we're gonna refer that to our building department.
Okay.
Any other questions from the drink?
I have a ton, and I apologize in advance.
No
You
problem.
talked
No problem.
before the meeting, and I appreciate that, like,
Yep.
so, the first thing is, the page that we, had with the blue, like, border. You know what I'm talking about?
This one
Is that the whole?
That is the current drainage district.
Okay.
And that's a 14A calculation that is done to get money from MDOT. Because there's a lot of M29 drainage that comes through that pipe. We go after MDOT for that, so it takes the burden off taxpayers and off of townships. So that helps relieve that.
Is that like the special assessment district? Is that
Yes,
what
it
that's?
is.
Okay, so
Yep.
everybody that's within that is
Correct.
going to be, okay.
Correct, and that's going through just a recheck to make sure that those lines are accurate. Because, they'll go through and make sure which catch basins come through that pipe. There's a lot of blind taps on this after we videoed it. We need to figure out where those blind taps are coming in,
Okay, let's see. That question was already answered. Let's see. Does this go through the same process, like special assessment? I don't know if this is a question for you or for them, but like, it's not the same.
No, it
process.
doesn't.
Okay, so it's not like a public hearing or anything?
No.
Okay,
There will be.
There will be, but not,
We'll have a day of review. Our office does that. We
It's the
pick
drain
about a
commission
dozen
that
drains
does
a year.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we do them all at once.
so it's at your
Yeah.
level where that.
Yeah, we don't do it as-
We'll put out public notice, anybody that was, in the
Other than our
area.
administration being involved when it's all
Yeah.
said and done for special assessments on the tax rolls, we're
Yep.
pretty much done.
will that be
They
on
handle all that.
this winter tax, or?
Yes.
Okay.
It should be, if we get the work done this year. So,
Okay.
depends on when we get the work done. So if we get the work done before, let's say, August, it'll be on this winter's taxes. If
Okay.
it starts after that, probably not, because
Okay.
September 1st is like our cutoff for,
Yeah,
we have to have that break point, so.
okay. Just so I can look
So
for
what's
tax.
the thing that's in our agenda? I think it's part of the same sheet of paper that you gave us, but the last 2 pages, like these things, what's the purpose of? I couldn't read.
That's just
like-
the old drawing of,
Oh, okay.
the right of way.
So it's just the map out of the properties
Correct.
basically? Okay.
Yep.
And then, one other question. So the 20% that you talked about, is that 20% that's gonna be assessed, properties, or is that?
20% would be to the township, so the at-large for the township.
Oh, okay, okay,
So there's some to St. Clair and some to East China.
okay. That's all I got.
Historically, it was 20%. That'll
It
come
changed.
into play with the redistricting, so you guys will have an opportunity to say, hey, we don't agree with you. We want that verified, so,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions? Now we'll have to read this resolution to get it as a motion, correct? I think that's not listed on here, but I have it on this as Resolution 04-2023.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas St. Clair County Drain Commissioners advise East China Township Board of Trustees that pursuant to Section 196 of the Michigan Drain Code, an inspection has been made of the inches drain, and it has been determined as a result of the inspection that certain maintenance must be performed upon the drain. And whereas the Drain Commissioner has the authority to expend $5,000 per mile in any 1 year for the maintenance of the drain, and whereas estimated that expenditures in excess of $5,000 per mile are necessary, those accounts may not be expended until approved by resolution of the governing body of each township, city, and village affected by more than 20% of the cost. And whereas the Drainage Board estimates that the cost of maintenance of the Inches Drain will be approximately $149,900, which constitutes $144,900 in excess of the authorized $5,000 per mile. Now therefore be it resolved that East China Township pursuant to section 196 subsection 5 of the Drain Code authorizes the Drain Commissioner to expend funds for the maintenance and repair of the Inches Drain in the excess of $5,000 per mile to the extent that the drain fund for the drain contains insufficient funds for the payment of costs incurred for the maintenance or repair of the drain. Drain Commissioner is also authorized to levy a special assessment as allowed by law. And that's the extent of the resolution we need to pass. I make a motion to approve that.
Support.
Any other questions after that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
Do
you.
we need to do a roll call or no?
Yeah, we do actually.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. We did.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Clerk Matei, yes. Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Richley. You're right. Resolution, new business 2 is Resolution 03-2023, Fire Authority member pay. They pay $25 per meeting, but according to their authority agreements, which I'm not sure why it would be that and not us, but anyway, it doesn't contain that. So the attached resolution establishes that we can pay the $25 reimbursement for appointed members for attendance at the meetings. So,
I wasn't aware, I just became aware that this wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So I'm.
Because all the other boards don't.
This should
Yeah.
have this should have been this way all
Yeah.
along.
Because everybody else gets paid to go to different meetings, right?
And I
Yeah.
know when I used to do payroll, I used to pay them for that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how this got,
well, they've been paying it for this only, the fire authorities.
you have been getting paid?
I didn't really look at the check stub, but yes, they asked me if I've gone to any meetings.
Right,
So I think Scott Vickery and I are on the fire authority boards, and I
Right.
think
Grace Jenna.
I didn't pay attention. But-
Yeah.
I think so.
But it's the only meeting that we get paid for. The rest of the meetings that I go to, we don't.
Okay.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve this as presented.
Okay.
Do we have to read the resolution?
Yes.
We need to read the resolution now. Let me read the resolution first, Alan, okay?
Okay. All right.
Resolution 3-2023 is paid for East China Township Fire Authority members. Whereas East China Township is a member of the Marine City Area Fire Authority and St. Clair Area Fire Authority, herein referred to as the authorities, and whereas East China Township appoints 2 members to each authority pursuant to their authority agreements, and whereas the Marine City Area Fire Authority and St. Clair Area Fire Authority agreements stipulate that the members of the authority board members shall serve without compensation, but shall be reimbursed for actual and necessary expenses incurred in performance of authority board duties. Now therefore be resolved that the Township Board of Trustees establishes a $25 flat reimbursement for East China Township appointed members for attendance at meetings of the Marine City and St. Clair Area Fire Authorities to cover actual and necessary expenses incurred in the performance of authority board duties. This amount shall be paid via accounts payable upon proof of meeting attendance is not considered a compensation via payroll. So now,
So moved.
thank you.
Support.
Clerk, the support. Please call the
Roll
roll.
call vote. Clerk Matei, yes. Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Thank you. New business 3, resolution supporting HB 5054 of 2022. This came to our desk that, these are unfunded pensions, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
Underfunded?
Yeah, underfunded, which we are, but not, we just actually made a $50,000 payment. Remember it was going to
We're
go to.
actually in
Yeah.
good
And we made
shape
it to
compared to
instead.
most.
I
Yeah,
think that bumped us over, possibly, but I don't
I
think.
think it did.
I don't know if it did, it probably didn't, did it, or did it?
I
We were,
think
we
it
were
did.
out of line, but basically they said, well, anybody that's not funded up to that amount is gonna get free money and the rest of them aren't, which we strongly disagree with. So we presented this motion and some letters of, support of, hey, we should all be included in this, just because we were diligent enough to start taking money out of our general
Exactly.
fund
Yep.
to
Yep.
fund the pension,
Yep.
Definitely.
and other municipalities or townships or whatever didn't,
Right.
they're gonna get the help and we're not now.
Right.
I strongly disagree with this.
It's rewarding fiscal irresponsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, my response can't be spoken or typed, but this
Yeah.
is the better, cleaner version. So, I'll read this. I think we all understand what this is, but we want to strongly voice our opinion that why you're cutting us out, because we made the
Diligent effort.
financial
yeah.
decisions and smart ones to
Right.
take our money and fund it, like we're supposed to by law. Resolution 5-2023, requests that legislature governor include funding in the 2023 budget for communities following pension best practices established by the state. Whereas East China Township has taken financial difficult steps to stabilize its pension program and get its pension costs and liabilities under control, and whereas these steps follow best practices established by the state of Michigan and kept East China Township operationally viable in the face of enormous financial pressure, and whereas HB 5054 of 22 would have divided $250 million between East China Township and other communities like it that made tough decisions and followed those best practices, and then whereas East China Township and others like it are ineligible for the $750 million in pension relief allocated by the state in 2022, despite experiencing the same pension-related financial stresses as those who will receive that relief. And whereas these stresses have been amplified by market losses in 2022 and a volatile market in 2023, and whereas this $250 million would have immeasurable impact on our ability to address our pension liabilities, maintain employment levels, and provide the services our taxpayers depend upon. And whereas both the $750 million allocated and the $250 million requested here had broad bipartisan support in the House a year ago, and whereas HB 5054 created an equitable balance between those with pensions that the House considered substantially underfunded and those who had followed best practices to achieve a higher funding ratio. And whereas unallocated revenues are available to the state in 2023 to make this pension assistance equitable by helping those communities struggling with pension costs but ineligible for the $750 million. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of East China Township asks the State of Michigan Legislature and Governor's Office to revisit HB 5054, and be it further resolved that the Legislature and Governor give bipartisan support to the inclusion of the $250 million in the 2023 state budget to be divided between communities, including East China Township, that meet the best practices required in that bill. That's a cleaned up version.
I'll make a motion to approve that as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Ridgely.
Support.
Support, Ms. Hart.
Real quick, you stole everything I was gonna say, but generally I'm not in favor of this kind of thing, like the state just giving out money willy-nilly, but I mean, if they're gonna do it for other people, then we should get it too.
Well, they're doing it willy-nilly, and they're
Right,
excluding us
exactly.
because we made the right decision
Exactly.
to
Right.
cut our
Exactly.
budget in other
Exactly.
areas to include money to fund our pension.
Yep.
Which is,
I only have one question.
it rewards you for not being physically responsible.
Are we sending this to Senator Lauer's representative,
Going-
DeBoyer and
The governor,
the
for
governor?
sure.
Yeah,
The governor and all
I
legislators
think
in
a
our
whole
district.
list of them, yeah.
Okay.
Basically in our district,
okay,
in our areas.
Cool.
And I think more,
yeah.
It's represented.
Yes.
55 cents, whatever it is now, yeah, trust me. Any other questions on it? Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call vote, Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Clerk Matei, yes. Supervisor Western?
Yes. Thank you. New business 4, purchase of 2 columbarium buildings, is that, did I say that
Columbarium.
correctly?
Columbarium.
Columbarium? Maybe Ms. Babel can address this a little bit, you're in the,
Oh, yeah. Yes, there is a great need for a couple of new columbariums. The other ones are almost filled. We do have 2 now. And getting 2 instead of just 1 saves us like $5,000, over $5,000. And I want to present that to have this looked at, and
okay, is that a motion?
yes,
It's for number 1, correctly?
yes,
Quoted price of $58,401 for two buildings? As presented by Cold Spring.
and it'll take almost a year to implement all that and get them built. And Cindy did check into the ARPA funds, and they can be used for that
Well, that's my
too.
next question, where were you planning on
Yes.
funding this?
We're gonna try to get as much as we can through ARPA, and then expend it through, I don't know, the general
Well,
fund
we
or
have to have
something.
that.
Additional funds that we're getting through ARPA, or funds that we've already received through ARPA?
Well, how much is in the cemetery's budget that you're taking right now from the
I
cemetery budget?
have no idea right now what it is.
This would not be in there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure
For
it's not
ARPA,
because.
for ARPA, you mean?
No, in the
Or-
cemetery
Oh,
budget, there's
Yeah, the
definitely
budget.
not
No,
that amount
No.
of money, because that
No.
runs in the negative
Well,
usually.
that was my only question, is how are we paying for this?
right.
Right.
Do you have a figure on where that's, we don't have a budget
I
attached to
can't,
this.
No.
do you recall
I think
when
we
we
still-
put those in?
I think,
Like what year?
I think we still have money left over from ARPA, I think.
Well, we do, but we've been
Yeah.
talking about ARPA a lot lately.
Yeah, it seems to be
And,
the fallback for everything.
And this money is basically recovered by sales of,
Yes,
so it's more of a borrow from account more than ARPA, in my opinion, but
Well, if you consider the repay back is gonna be over probably 10 to 15, 20 years.
Yeah, a long period of time.
It's gonna take probably 5 to 10 to fill one. I mean, we've had two of them here for, I would say at least 15 years. And that's how long it took to,
Right. And how
it's not
many,
completely full.
how many are in
but
the
it's-
existing ones?
there's
40?
pretty much all lower ones, and people don't seem to.
But I mean the
want
total
those.
I think it's
number.
40 per side.
Yeah, I think so.
40 per side?
So they're the same 80?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure they match them so they look,
Yeah.
yeah, 80, 280 niche, so there's 40 per side
Yeah,
units. So the savings of 5,600 over
Yeah.
15 to 20
I was gonna say, do we need
years.
two right away?
Right, that was my only
that was
thought.
another thought on that too.
it just makes it look aesthetically more pleasing, you know, to put two there to kind of make a square or whatever, and then have maybe a seating area in between. We're really trying to get things freshened up and
Yeah.
put into
Yeah,
the
I
cemetery.
didn't have any information on this last week. I was out of town until Sunday, till yesterday, and I didn't have any, and Cindy was out today, so I couldn't ask her about
Right.
the funding on this.
Maybe it's something we should consider for next year's budget? I mean, we didn't budget for this.
No, we
I
didn't.
mean, that's 50, 60 grand.
And maybe
right
then
outta-
we can talk with her about how much ARPA funds we can use, and
Do we know, would they require payment right away, or?
that I'm not
Well,
sure.
this is almost a year out.
This
to make
is-
these
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
My thought would be, can we table it until the next meeting to straighten out more funding on it?
Right.
I'm thinking one building. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I thought one.
I'd say one for sure.
now,
I mean,
yeah.
if we had money sitting around, but like I said, it's gonna take so long to
Maybe
take.
budget.
I'm just really
The other one for
apprehensive right now.
next
We
year.
have
Right. I was gonna
$9.5
say, if we
million
order
worth
them
of
and,
work going on in this township with water mains and sewers and.
Right,
Yeah.
and we just dished out extra for
You
that
know what-
kayak park,
You know we're gonna get hit
To
for
make
stuff
up
here, so.
difference for
um,
that.
I just wanna keep our finger on stuff a little bit here, but maybe one building, if that's, like, you feel the need's gonna be, what, in another 2 or 3 years, we're gonna need
Yes,
this?
definitely.
I think one building would solve that for another 10
For-
or 15 then, maybe.
Right,
So for
Yeah.
one building, it'd be $32,001? That's, okay.
We might be able to beat them down to 32 even.
I think that cost is literally
Just for
double.
accounting
I
purposes,
think
it would
the
make it
first
easier.
ones we paid only like 16,000,
Really.
way back when,
So are you guys
Wow.
okay with,
if memory serves me correctly.
you wanna look into the funding and then maybe talk about it at the next meeting?
Yeah.
And a
that
motion
sounds
to table
good.
that then?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, support to
or,
that?
well,
I'll make a
support.
motion to table it.
okay.
I'll
so
support.
moved.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's-
Who's
all's in favor, say
supporting
aye.
it? Who is supporting it?
Either, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
Nicole or Alan.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll put this on as an old business, and the next one, we'll take that into consideration. The next, new business 5 is request to engage the cemetery into master plan, and all I have here is request to engage cemetery into master plan as an important asset. I don't have any other paperwork on this unless you guys do. You know,
We've been talking about it and putting it in there because it is an asset to this township. And it should be on the master plan. I'd have no reason or, knowledge of why it has never been put on a master plan. Because most of them are when they're in,
Aren't we having the planning commission looking at that right now?
Yes.
Would that be something for their meeting then?
Well, we probably have to have direction from us
Right, I
to say,
mean,
yes, include it
Of course,
in
it's
the
an
master
asset of
plan
ours. If
update.
cemetery's our asset, I think it
Right.
should be included in the master
Yeah.
plan if it's not.
I agree.
yeah.
So I think we can
'Cause-
refer that to the planning commission,
Yeah.
that we'd like to have that as an important asset, and if we,
So let's make a motion then to have
I'll
it
do that.
I
added.
support.
Designated important asset, is that what the correct terminology is? Or just asset?
Some-
To include the
Significant.
cemetery in the master plan.
There you go, how's that? I
Yes,
like that
there you
wording.
go.
Since you said that, I will make that motion.
I support.
All right, and it's been made, moved and supported to add the cemetery to our master plan as an asset, whether it's significant, important, or otherwise. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. New business 6, SEMCOG membership renewal. Everybody get a chance to take a look at this. This is our annual membership cost for SEMCOG. I know Cindy refers to this a lot. She's been trying to get me involved to do it more. If I ever have some spare reading time, I will, but we do refer to
Yeah.
them for miscellaneous grants and whatnot. And I think for that much money, it's worth it.
There's little perks here and there that we get. I've used them too.
Is that a motion to approve then, at 8:52?
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Hart.
I will motion to approve the membership
Is there
renewal.
support to that?
Support.
Mr. Richley? Thank you. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Matei, yes. Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Thank you. There's some correspondence from one of our water plant operators. In the end of March, he returned to the review in Mount Pleasant. I think you'll have this attached. It's a class that was put on by Michigan Rural Water and taught by John Holland. He said it was a very good class. Working towards his license, which is something we really like to see. And there's a certificate attached. Very good. Thanks for going, and good job on completing the course. That's for Mr. Ryan Lang. Anybody else have anything? Yes.
I have a few things.
You got a lot.
I know, I don't know what's going on. But, it was early, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why we'll start with the rest of someone's interest on the questions. Go ahead.
So, I was talking to somebody over the weekend. I work at Menards on the weekend, and so somebody came in and they said, allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's something we should prepare for just in case. I mean, that's a good thing to prepare for, but if the county doesn't do all of 26 Mile Road, like if they only do like a partial part of it,
I'm talking about the repaving of it or something? Okay.
and they're talking about pushing the rest of the ARPA funds, dispersing them among the townships, cities, stuff like that. So I mean, if they do that, we're gonna have a very short period of time to like decide where we're gonna.
Oh, I can spend that.
So, I
Don't worry about
know.
that.
Cemetery.
Did you say you got 26
We might get 2
mile?
buildings at cemetery.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
But so that's one thing.
You lost me, wait.
I wouldn't
Say
hold
that-
your breath
You're
on
talking
that,
about 26 Mile?
Like if they don't go the full like amount, because there's a lot of people that are against it. Like at the county commission level,
Okay.
they might push the rest of those funds to the townships
Oh,
and
okay.
cities.
They-
Unused funds?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I personally haven't heard anything, and I'm pretty close to that. I haven't heard anything to that nature. I just
Okay.
heard there was some resistance about where they were thinking about it. I don't know how that's all played out yet, so
Okay.
I officially haven't heard anything. How's that?
Okay.
I'm sure that the county commissioners have places they'd like to spend their money. I don't know if they would hand it over to us to spend.
Yeah.
but
Right,
I'm
right,
sure they'd
right.
thrill if they would.
Yeah.
And I would encourage that, commissioners. Thank you. But I don't know if that'll happen, but,
Right.
all right, yeah.
But the-
You know how rumors go.
Yeah. But the other thing is the master plan. Is there any talk about when we're going to be meeting,
That was just to them.
or just the planning
Just to the
commission?
planning commission's
Okay.
hands, and I was gonna refer to Herb on that, but he's not.
Okay.
But yeah, that's in the works. They're working on
Okay.
it. And it'll come back to us eventually.
Okay. And happy Easter. That's the only other thing.
No,
Thank you.
That's going with them. Any other questions, comments?
Just, I would like to comment on the trees and the water. I know we talked about that earlier. But if you, as a homeowner, see trees falling into the water in front of your property, please try and get them out before they block everything up and cause more water damage and flooding and everything. I am trying to contact Eagle, DEQ, the county, everybody, to see what the next step would be. I know you had said that they don't want you to take the trees out or something for
Habitat.
habitat.
There's
yeah.
habitat, there's a lot of things, because I believe the Army Corps is not really involved with those rivers. That's only the St. Clair River, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's Eagle that the tributary rivers they fall under.
Okay.
And,
Permits are issued.
yeah, I mean, our drain commissioner takes care of the large ditches and whatnot too. Then they don't like those trees in there for flow.
Right.
Right.
But it's become a big issue over the years lately on the river, you know.
Well, with all this wind that we've had and everything, the tree situation is really bad this year.
Yeah.
And
And then the
they
mushy
don't allow
ground.
the township to have any jurisdiction whatsoever over that river.
Yeah, but see, I had called the DEQ in different places several years ago, and they had told me that it's the township's and the homeowner's responsibility to get those trees out.
It falls on the homeowner
So,
basically, which
Yeah,
I don't understand why, to be
yeah.
honest with you.
Well, I mean, if you've got a tree on your property that's falling over, you should be taking care of it.
Yeah, I get that.
You know.
But if you want to put a seawall up, then they'll step in and say, well, no. So
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to own it to a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
You know how that goes.
So, that's
Only
all I
until it's
got.
not what they want, and then it's
Right.
their responsibility.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Been moved? Is there support?
Support?
Ms. Hart? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.